interesting to see there's no South Korean flag there, but there's the North Korean flag and the unification flag. We can see Kim Yong-nam is there on the far left of your screen.
We're also seeing Choi Ryong-hae and we're also seeing Lee Sun-won, who's the head of North Korea's Committee for Reunification of the Fatherland. I mean, he's been the representative who led the North Korean delegation to the high-level talks between the two Koreas several times. He's the direct counterpart for South Korea's unification minister.
Yeah, whenever we see the two Koreas hold their working level talks, it's usually between Ri Son-gwon and South Korea's unification minister. Anything we can read into the officials we see there, Professor Song? Clearly, they are among the highest, most senior level officials in the regime.
Clearly, very high level, and it shows their willingness to lay down literally the red carpet, but also very high level welcome. I think that, as Chung-hee mentioned, that there must be reason why they keep showing the gate and the door.
Yeah,
somebody will emerge in a quite dramatic fashion.
Yeah, someone wearing a traditional Mao suit might emerge from that building, but we can only speculate on what's going to happen at the moment. But we're not going to have to wait that long. The plane is there, sat on the tarmac. I'm sure waiting there, people are eager to get off and get their first taste, for many of them at least, their first taste of a warm Pyongyang welcome. So the crowd there.
There he is.
Okay, there we see the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un coming out.
Yeah, so North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, we can confirm, is at the airport to personally greet President Moon Jae-in on the tarmac of this airport And
he's coming out along with his wife, Lee Sol-ju, the First Lady of North Korea.
It's amazing how quickly the crowd went from rather subdued to being in such high spirits. But that's to be expected.
They were very calm.
Yes. But this, I'm sure, will go into propaganda roles in the regime's state-run television broadcasts. It's another way Kim Jong-un can legitimize his control over the regime, inviting the leader of South Korea to his country. He's walking along, strolling along, looking very confident and comfortable, as Jung-Yi touched upon the first time. He looked slightly unnerved, unsure of himself, the first time he walked across the DMZ for their first summit back in April. But this is his city, this is his home country, so I'm sure he feels much more comfortable here. We're seeing people shake the flowers. It's kind of reminiscent of the scenes we saw when Nam Yu-han and Kim Dae-jung had their respective summits with then North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. Professor Song, looking at this, what's your first impressions?
Well, it's only fitting that he appears and be the first one to greet the President Moon Jae-in. It speaks to the importance of this meeting, and it speaks to his emphasis on optics of showing the two leaders standing together with a warm embrace, so to speak, and touching, starting this historic visit.
So just like his father in 2000, it seems Kim Jong-un decided to welcome the South Korean president who's coming to Pyongyang via the airport. Now they're hugging,
warm embrace. They do look genuinely pleased to see each other again. Last time they saw each other was back in May, so going on 4 months. Ri Sol-ju and the South Korean First Lady as well engaged in a warm conversation, smiles all round, very cordial and everyone seems to be on good terms ahead of what is likely to be a big summit. But at least at this current time, it's smiles all round. We don't know what Kim Jong-Un is thinking about, but it's nice to see that the two Koreas are at this point together where we can see these warm scenes between the leaders of the two Koreas.
And North Korean children delivering flower to the first couple.
This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this in 11 years, a South Korean leader coming to Pyongyang for an inter-Korean summit. The weather seems to have accommodated them as well. It seems like a lovely early autumn day there in Pyongyang. Lots of music going on, big smiles from Kim Jong-un's sister. They must have got to know each other fairly well during the Pyeongyang Winter Olympics when she was over for several days to watch that.
And she actually invited President Moon over to Pyongyang. She was sent there as a special envoy and delivered Kim Jong-un's invitation to President Moon Jae-in to visit Pyongyang, and now that happened.
Okay, so Jung-hee, we're seeing him, President Moon Jae-in, meet with the top brass in the regime and military leaders. We can go down the line there. That really is the who's who of the North Korean leadership. The trusted inner circle of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Right, so it seems he's been greeted, it seems he's been greeted by the top military officials, possibly the chief of the general staff of the North Korean army and the defense minister. And now the North Korean leader is greeting the South Korean officials, the foreign minister, defense minister, the land and transport minister, and the maritime affairs minister.
Yeah, we must remember that these officials have met each other before, the vast majority of them anyway, since the last meeting was only 4 and a bit months ago.
Right, so shaking hands with the National Intelligence Agency chief as well, and the cultural minister, and some of the top officials from the presidential office, such as the spokesperson and people in charge of the protocol.
Well, it seems as though everyone is being very gracious and good-natured, and let's listen in to see if we hear anything.
So it seems the two leaders are going to inspect the honor guards at the airport. They've been ready for the past, I don't know, nearly an hour.
Of the honor guard. They're a little bit different to how it was in Panmunjom back in April, but a very warm welcome. The red carpet has been rolled out for the South Korean leader, and it seems as though this meeting is off to a good start. Professor Song, do you think that President Moon Jae-in is absolutely aware of, down to the finest details, every detail about this trip? Can you see any way in which it hasn't been agreed that North Korea must not divert from the official schedule?
Remember that the details about the schedule has not been hammered out until the last minute, so I'm sure there are a lot of
but
scurrying around.
He won't want to be put into any embarrassing situations.
No, I don't think so. I think he will handle it well. If anything, they have developed this personal chemistries So I think that if it comes to that, they'll wing it pretty well.
Right. Well, we saw in the Pyeongyang summit when they took that walk along the bridge and sat down on the bench, JONG-UN, and they had that long conversation for about 40 minutes. There is some talk that potentially something like that may happen again in Pyongyang. There is an area in Pyongyang, if I'm correct in saying, where the two leaders might look to get away from prying eyes and ears to have a one-on-one chat. They have plenty to talk about.
Right, so a potential place for that is the Baekgwon State Guest House. It's where the previous presidents who visited Pyongyang also stayed and had their summits with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. President Moon is expected to be staying there as well. And according to what we've been learning, that there is a spot within that guest house where, you know, there's a forest and the Taedonggang River also flows alongside the guest house, and there's a large lake. And there's also, you know, some, you know, pathways where people could actually walk along. So, you know, this could be a spot that's pretty similar to the spot in the Panmunjom at the demilitarized zone that we saw on April 27th, where the two leaders could actually stop by and chat with each other for, I don't know, more than 30 minutes or nearly 40 minutes.
Professor Song, you look like you wanted to jump in there.
Well, I'm just looking at the picture of this top brass of these two countries at the same time. Not just the top leaders, but those people who will be hammering out the details. And certainly I'm seeing all the major participants are there. We didn't see it right now, but of course we saw the businessmen also. So not only the official delegate, but also the private sector as well. So potentially, they have all the major players in one place.
Well, as journalists, we do try and depict the chemistry between the leaders from the videos we see on screen, but it does genuinely seem as though both men feel comfortable in each other's company. Two men so different in many ways, but there are still plenty of smiles and a bit of laughter as well. Just a reminder, if you are joining us, you're watching the ongoing coverage we have here on South Korea's international broadcaster Arirang TV of the 2018 Inter-Korean Pyongyang Summit between South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. This is the third time they're meeting in 2018, and they are getting a magnificent response now. The crowd has really woken up, and they're going delirious seeing and meeting with President Moon Jae-in and of course their dear leader Kim Jong-un.